What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Emporium's TV review of the Apple TV Plus original series, The Afterparty. This will follow Season 2, Episode 3, which is titled Travis, and is directed by Christopher Miller. Okay, so after the last two episodes of The Afterparty, I am really excited for each episode now. I mean, I was already excited to begin with, but Season 2, I should say, of The Afterparty has started out really, really strong, and it doesn't look like it's going to dissipate any further at all. I think this is another really highly produced, very, very slick episode that really shines the nature of who Paul Walter Hauser is as an actor. I think it's very, very funny. I think it's a well-produced episode, and maybe actually the best episode of the series so far, to be fairly honest, which is a high point and a high statement because it's very difficult for especially a second season to continue as a high of the first season, and I think this is doing it in spades. And this episode, once again, like the other episodes in this series, is a genre episode, or at least it plays off a genre, which is the 1950s noir. Think of like Double Indemnity or something of that nature. And I think it does a really nice job of opening kind of a little bit more about what exactly is going on in this world. Now, whether Paul Walter Hauser's Travis character is 100% correct, we still have 7 more episodes to kind of figure that out. But I think this does a lot to really kind of open up what exactly Edgar is, who he is, what did Travis find, why is Travis even at this party. There's a lot of stuff here that could be honestly important to the later part of this story. And that is good writing, that is good directing, that is good acting, and I found this episode absolutely delightful, as well as very, very funny and very raunchy in some places. So it's a pretty good episode. But basically, as these stories do, Travis is a schlubby character. He's a character with a lot of heart, but he doesn't do it very well with his heart. He basically makes mistakes. He's that character that a lot of people find detestable. But what he's trying to do is find out what exactly Edgar is. Why is he marrying Grace? He, of course, is the ex of Grace. Of course, Travis is a conspiracy theorist, as his character would be. And he's basically invited to this party just because Grace invited all of her exes, as she said before. But, Travis is that character that's very lonely, that lives up in his mom's, house or whatever. And you kind of feel sad for him, to be fairly honest, but you kind of understand why he even comes to this party. But because he's a conspiracy theorist and he reads between the lines, he basically feels that Grace is sending him a message, basically. And what that means is, in the lettering of the invitation, he feels like there's a code that's saying that there's a scam going on between Grace and, of course, Edgar. Now, that opens a lot of interesting ideas about what exactly Travis feels about Grace, but it also opens up the idea of what happens to Travis's character, which is very depressing and sad, but is told in a very lighthearted and comedic manner, which is a perfect example of what comedy can do, where they can take a very dark and disturbing stuff and actually turn it on its head and make you laugh about it, and especially using like a character like Travis. But basically what Travis had found out about Edgar is that this cryptocurrency that Travis had bought had gone under, and therefore he lost a lot of money. He finds out that Edgar has been using shell companies to cryptocurrency, which is, basically means that Travis was screwed over. He was basically conned out of his money, and he's going to get to the bottom of it. He basically has all these articles that have basically shown that Edgar's not a very good person, at least from the Travis's mind. It could be very, very much different. But he also basically starts to come under the conclusion that Edgar might be trying to run. He might be trying to, in essence, commit like that he's been killed, but he's basically falsifying his death in a lot of respects. And so therefore he can hide, he can get away from all the conspiracies and all the problems with the police, and therefore he can fake his own death and stuff like that. So that's why he goes to the wedding, is to confront Grace about what this character Travis is doing. Well, on top of everything, Zoe and Grace, the day of, this is one, the noir stuff's told in black and white. Grace, and of course, Zoe stuff's told as well as unique and stuff like that, are all told in color. And Zoe and Grace go off to find what Zoe thought was this cufflink, which ends up being a key off his typewriter, which I find very, very interesting because Now it brings Hannah into the mix, and we find out Hannah might be very unscrupulous, which is a show, so I mean, it has the tendency of making other characters maybe not be as scrupulous as possible or whatever. But I really I really enjoy this kind of stuff because the stuff in the noir setting is very much 1950s noir. As the C here, give me three fingers here, and the nature of like how Travis thinks he's a detective, but he comes off very amateurish and stuff like that. I like that we get the idea of like he basically crashed the rehearsal party, but that's not even like the really funny part or anything like that. It's how Travis uses what he thinks is his detective skills to try and find information not only about Edgar but about what is going on, what is Edgar doing, and stuff like that. So he like talks to like Isabella, and he talks to Fang, and he talks to Ulysses, and he talks to Anik, and he talks to Hannah, which comes across as like his I would say sidekick in a lot of respects, but there's like a sexual tension there, which is very easily confused by Travis and stuff like that. But it's also very funny because of how awkward Travis is in this episode and this whole series. It's played for more laughs. So Travis will be asking questions in his like 1950s detective style, but then he'll say something very lewd and raunchy, and the character will get offended or get uncomfortable or just kind of walk away. For instance, he talks to a waiter and he offers him money, but then he also offers Fang's wife, Grace's mother, consider hams or consider money or whatever, to say something in a letter. He says something to Fang himself, and it becomes very awkward and very raunchy. It's very, very funny. It really is. It's very sad for Travis, who's trying to find out what Edgar's up to. But the gist of the after party and the gist of the writing and the gist of the directing and so on and so forth, Paul Walter Hauser delivers some absolutely fantastic moments in that segment. And just in the rehearsal stuff, just in the nature of like the setting and how he plays it out, and just the nature of like him asking a question or him saying somebody's name, and it comes off very lewd and crude. And it's very, very funny and very absolutely hilarious. I just absolutely loved it. But this leads to, of course, Travis breaking into Edgar's study, and he's looking for whatever information he can get. He finds like a list of names that he takes a look at and stuff like that. And then, Sebastian, the Jack Whitehall character, pops up, and they talk about, the safe, the cryptocurrency, and then they talk about this horse named Bucephalus, which is a really funny name because it sounds like syphilis and so. And it leads it leads Sebastian to come up with some thought that he was thinking of, like the horse and the father and Bucephalus, and he runs off, and it leads to, of course, Travis's character finding this paper with a bunch of coding on it, a bunch of numbers, and then it leads him to think that it's Morse code because of the horse Bucephalus. It's really funny. It's done in like a Beautiful Mind type setting. It's just absolutely delivers on all fronts. And just the look on Anik and Danner's face when he's trying to explain everything is absolutely hysterical because, though they find some credibility to what he's saying, the way he goes about it and the way he approaches it is all absolutely wrong. Some of the things that Travis says to Danner and Anik it's absolutely funny. Once again, I don't want to get demonetized, so I'll leave it for you guys to watch it and understand what's going on. But it's just, you cannot not go wrong with what Paul Walter Hauser's doing here. And then he goes and tries to confront Grace, and like it leads to like the study scene where, in typical detective style fashion for noir films, Travis goes off on this tangent about how this character of Edgar is going to fake his death and he's going to run off. It leads to telling him that he's going to die tonight, and of course it leads off to Edgar going off to his room, eventually dying because he's calling everyone devil. But as we know, it didn't play out like that. It wasn't that in depth and that intuitive. It was more, and Travis goes up here and he's like, you're gonna die tonight. And that's when Edgar like freaks out and so on and so forth. It's all the drinking he's been doing or whatnot. And it leads him to follow Edgar and Grace up to the room. And he thinks he's going to be real smart, so he lays a bunch of pistachios on the ground, which is really funny. And he just says he's going to wait till see who the killer is, or wait and see if Edgar leaves. He falls asleep, of course, wakes up to Grace's screaming. That's why he's at the door, the first one at the door. But it also leads to the revelation that when Grace and Zoe jump out the window, because Hannah's coming back to the hut stuff's really funny because it's like full of the like artifact bugs and stuff like that, but also a bunch of typewriters, which they do find the missing location for the key for that typewriter. It ends up happening is they find this thing called the Devil's Trumpet. And I don't know if the Devil's Trumpet is a real thing. I am not even going to guess. But the Devil's Trumpet basically is this hallucinogenic poison that kills the person in 30 minutes. So therefore, you remember that scene in the first episode where there's a guy running across the grounds naked? That may have been Edgar running across the grounds naked, or may have been Sebastian or whoever it was. But it makes more sense now because somebody poisoned Edgar, or at least that's what the logic and reasoning of Travis is, and of course killed Edgar in 30 minutes or something like that. So therefore, there's another opening of mystery and error about who did it or whatever, who killed Edgar. But there's also this error of mystery is he still alive? Is he like faking his own death? Was Travis right? Was Travis wrong? That's what's great about a third episode is it gives you enough interesting ideas and enough interesting opening mystery boxes that it could go either way. Hannah's introduced as being the next character for the next episode, as we see, but is she involved? Sebastian? Is it Isabel? Is Edgar really dead? Is he not dead? Is Grace involved? What exactly is going on? That is the mystery that makes this episode so great, that makes this season so great. It gives you bits and pieces. It actually makes Travis look a little smarter than he's coming off in this episode. It makes you question, like, what exactly is going on here? What's happening? It's really great to watch. Paul Walter Hauser does an absolutely fantastic job. You know, he's one of the best parts about the series, or at least this season so far. And once again, this is my favorite episode of the series because it does such a nice job of just building and building and building to the conclusion that something is amiss. There's something that involves Travis where he lost a lot of money to Edgar, and Edgar may not be as as nice as you can think. So I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see how it plays out. And for now, I love this episode so much. It's great. It's absolutely such a fun episode. It really is. And I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10. Like I said, it's wonderful. And this season's so wonderful. I really love it. So with that said, that's kind of where we're going to leave it. Next episode, we'll deal with Hannah, and we'll see where that kind of plays out, what genre it plays out, and how much fun I'm assuming we'll be having when we get through that episode. So anyways, with that said, that is going to be my take on the third episode of the second season of the Afterparty, which is titled Travis. As always, as I say, comments below. What did you think of the episode? Where do you think the series is headed for the second season? What is your honest opinions and ideas and like kind of the mystery box? What do you think where it's headed and all that good stuff? So, but with that said, that'll do it. Thank you so much. If you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find out what's coming next. If you like the video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.